Okay. Everything's good over there?
Yes, very good. Hello, you?
Yes. So I have with me today Paula, and she is a mindset coach. And we're just going to chat a little bit about how someone can go from feeling burnt out to blossoming. And especially for female business owners, I think that this is more prevalent. So I would just love to know if you can introduce yourself first a little bit more and then talk to being burnt out and getting out of burnout.
So hello everyone, and hello Gina, to be here is really nice with you, and thank you for inviting me to have me here. Um, what am I doing in my professional world is I work as just as a transformational coach to support people all over the planet to increase their consciousness about themselves and how they see life and them in it, as well as looking at their health, the way they look at their body and their well-being. And it encompasses absolutely everything, really. How I got on this journey is I was working in the medical field for over 30 years. And then I started to work more and more holistically. And after a while, I saw that there is much more to a human being than just looking at the body, but it is body and mind and nutrition and encompassing absolutely everything. So I studied 3 years in the scientific approach of nutrition, and then I studied in the same time in EFT. I don't know if you know it. It's emotional freedom technique.
Okay.
And sorry, I had a cough recently. And emotional freedom technique is a technique over tapping on acupuncture points really effectively. You're going really quickly back into your past, and in between, it found its way through famous people who did this technique, and it's quite acknowledged in between. And just after I finished my training in EFT, I came to the three principle paradigm understanding. And the three principle paradigm understanding, when I heard about that, and I first thought, what the heck is that? But immediately it touched base and it touched my heart. I really heard truth. And what I mean with that is that the three principle understanding is a pre-existing understanding which explains to us human beings of how we experience every single moment in time.
Mm,
It encompasses all psychology, psychiatry, all kinds of science. And it gives us a fundamental understanding of how we experience this moment. And then I can still use techniques because, I mean, there are different ways to roam, right?
mhm,
But for me, coming to the three principle paradigm understanding, it gave me the ability to see that there is no doing anymore, but a noticing, right?
mhm, mhm,
So, noticing what is happening in the moment, and in the moment when I see that people, circumstances, events are responsible for the way I feel, in that moment, there is for me something to do. There is
mm,
for me something to change, right? So,
mhm,
if I have a stressful job, then I need to have some time out. I need to go on holiday. I might need to change my job. I'm maybe frustrated with my workload. I'm frustrated with my colleagues, my chef, or my own business.
Mhm.
And when I have a misunderstanding in that my experience is not coming from thought about my workload, then it can seem very, very overwhelming.
Mm.
And it can be a lot. I mean, we all, especially, us women, we juggle a lot of balls every single day, right? There is not
Mhm.
only our job, our own business. We want to create, we have loads of ideas. There is loads to be done. There is finances to deal with. Then on the side, we have also family, children, a relationship. There's maybe parents involved who need our help. There is maybe, there's definitely some shopping to be done. Maybe you still have to cook in the evening. So there is a lot of stuff we have to think of every single day, right? Maybe you even have an animal who wants to go for a walk, which is actually a nice thing because they're taking us out and also bring us back into the moment.
Mm.
And that's what it's all about. Because when I can see in that moment when I'm overwhelmed,
Mm.
in that moment, I see all the things I need to be doing, I should be doing, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
When we're really honest with ourselves, just talking about shoulds and have tos,
Mhm.
who is the one normally saying, I have to, I
Mm.
should be doing that?
Mm. Wow.
It's normally our own
Selves, yeah.
selves.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And in that moment, when I can see that I'm recognizing, because that is what makes us human, is that we can recognize that we are the thinker.
Mm.
And in that moment, when I can recognize that I'm the thinker, and in that moment, I think about everything which needs to be done. And
Mhm.
then there comes that one email in, or that, whatever it is on top of that. And that's the end for me. I'm done. I don't know how to
Mhm.
cope. That's the overload is complete.
Mhm.
But there is always safety in
Mm.
every single moment. There is a treasure, and that is to see that there is only this moment right now.
Mm.
But thought is taking me into the future about all the things what I have to do, or is still somewhere stuck in my past. And I can
Mm.
only experience my past in this moment via thought.
Mm.
So in the moment when I can realize that, then I can give that attention. I cannot stop thinking. I cannot
Mhm.
stop thinking about all the things I want to be doing, I have to do, I should be doing. That's makes us human. That's okay to have that, but to see that it's happening through thought.
Mm.
And in the moment, it's like, okay, in the moment, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. Sorry, but I don't give it importance.
Right.
Yeah, so we have certain thoughts. So we have around 58,000 thoughts a day, right?
Mm.
And there's some we like to give more importance than others. So if you, for example, standing on the top of a mountain and you're standing on a cliff and you look down, well, speak of me,
Mhm.
and I look down and I think, how would that feel to jump down there? How
Mm.
would that be? How freeing would it be? What would it do? But I never would do it, right?
Mhm.
So I have this thought, but can clearly see what it is, and I don't need
Mhm.
to act on it. But then there are others, and we don't see that their thought created too. And in
Mm.
the moment when I see my overload, It is thought created.
Mm.
And then I can just say, okay, in the moment I can see thought, I'm coming back into stillness and wisdom is coming up. My intuition is coming up, my inner voice, whatever you like to call it, and says, for example, I think I have a cup of tea.
Mhm.
Or, I think I might take myself out for a walk. And you
Mhm.
know what you need in every given moment. And
Yeah.
then you are actually able to create more, to be more present when your
Mm.
mind is quiet again,
Mm.
right?
So you're kind of in a way separating yourself from the overwhelm, would
Yeah.
you say? Yeah.
Yeah, you could describe, yeah, absolutely. You could describe that exactly. You
Mm.
don't take it personal anymore.
Mhm.
Very good. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because when you think, when you realize we coming from the formless nature, we are mental health, we are pure unconditional love,
Mm.
we are wisdom, we are
Mm.
intuition, we are part of that oneness of life, and we can see the form only via the bridge of thought.
Mm.
So whatever comes out of the formless, whatever we create, but is experienced via thought.
Mhm.
But then we give it meaning and we
Mhm.
want that, but we don't want that, or we overthink it and we analyze it and we put more thought in it. And that's where the problematic comes. But when
Mhm.
we can go back to our original nature, to the quietness, and all I need to know is, how do I experience it? How do I experience this moment? What is, when you sit in an uncomfortable feeling, that's what you want to listen to. And you
Mhm.
sit in this uncomfortable feeling and you think, where does it come from?
Mm.
And you know somewhere you caught up in thought. You're not present. Because when you're present, your mind is quiet and you're actually okay.
Mhm.
There is no problems. There's nothing to deal with. There's only this
Mhm.
this
Right.
moment right now. And it's completely just is. And you
Mhm.
just get on with it. And when you often in the middle of the night, and I think most people have it, we got the
Mhm.
best ideas, or
Mhm.
when we under the shower, or when
Mhm.
we're out for a walk. And why is that? Because our mind is quiet.
Mm.
We're coming back into the moment, in the night. That's a really nice thing. It is our body is resting. And yes,
Mhm.
we can overthink as well in the night. I don't want to say that. And we can have
Mhm.
sleepless nights. Something wakes us up, and then the head cinema starts working.
Mhm.
But when I know it's the head cinema, I don't have to give it any attention.
Mhm.
I can lie there in bed and say, I'm actually just lying here in bed. And, and as more as I say, oh, be quiet up there, don't do it. As
Yeah.
more as it hangs around. But when I just can be okay with, it just is and it will pass in
Mhm.
the next moment, then that's the answer, because then I'm not adding extra thinking on it.
Mhm. I I really like what you said, and I feel like something for me that helps me to bring me back in the moment is what you said, just going for walks. And I think being immersed in nature is something that has helped me personally just
Mm,
be in the moment and just focus on if I'm taking my cat for a walk or just looking at the new space that I'm in or whatnot. So that's really a good tip. And also something else that I just tell myself when I'm maybe feeling a little bit overwhelmed or whatever is what am I worried about? like am I okay right now? Everything's okay right now. I have food in my fridge. I have a house over my head. Like I have water. I have my husband and my cat. I'm okay right now. Whatever happens tomorrow happens tomorrow. Whatever happened already happened. And that
Nice.
kind of brings me back to I'm okay. I don't need to
Mm.
be stressing out and feeding that, thought pattern. So,
That's beautiful. That's your wisdom talking, right? That's
mm,
your wisdom telling you that's what you need in this moment.
mhm,
So, but then there is no doing anymore, you know? So a lot of people, they think, I need to go for a walk to feel better. I
mhm,
need to take myself for holiday to feel better.
mm,
But in the moment when I can experience that it's thought, my mind gets quiet.
mm,
In that moment, I come back to my formless nature of being. And there comes wisdom up saying, oh, I think would be a good idea. Let's go for a walk.
mhm,
Because I can go for a walk and I walk for half an hour and I didn't experience anything out there. I can't see the beauty. I don't see the birds. I
mhm.
can't hear them singing because I'm completely caught up in stuff,
Thinking. Yeah.
right?
Mhm,
But in the moment when I know, oh, look, I'm doing that, in that moment, I'm already back here in that moment.
mhm,
Like when you drive 20 minutes in the car, I even turned off the wrong turning once because I was so in thought,
mhm,
right? And you just drive along 20 minutes and you have no idea how you got from A to B. I think we,
mhm,
most of us had done. And
mhm,
then suddenly you're back. And
mhm,
that's our inner correction, our self-complete, our inner compass taking us back automatically without doing anything into what is needed of us in that moment. There is
mhm,
no more doing.
mhm. Yeah. I think that everything you shared totally resonates, and I think that just being the observer is something that, I don't think a lot of people maybe have tapped into, and I think it's really important, and I think just that tip alone will help someone who is maybe overwhelmed or burnt out or whatever negative emotions they're experiencing to just come back into the moment and
Mm. Mm.
yeah, and heal that way.
Yeah, there is often a lot of judgment for the way we are, and we should be different, and why are we taking this stuff so seriously, and so on. There was a really good study done about stress. I don't know if you heard it. And it is that they researched people who have high amounts of stress and people with low amount of stress and how much heart attack they had and the
Mm,
reaction in the physical being. Have you heard about that study?
mm-mm.
And they found that people with high amount of stress have the highest amount of heart attack.
Wow.
And but people with low amount of stress, hang on. So say that again. So people with high amounts of stress but thought it was harmful for their health,
Mhm,
they got the most amount of heart attacks. But people who had little amount of stress,
mhm,
who thought it was harmful for their health, had more heart attacks than people who had a high amount of stress but didn't thought it was harmful for their health.
hmm. That's
And they
interesting.
also found that people who thought that stress is harmful for their health, their arteries constricted.
Wow.
The people who thought, well, actually, stress, is good for me, and some people they thrive on stress,
Mhm.
and they find, oh, it gives me more oxygen in my brain, and it's really good for me to kick me, to give me the kick, their arteries stayed nicely wide and open.
Wow.
So what I want to say with that is, it is how we judge how we feel.
Mhm.
And when you have a look at how you judge of how you feel, so, we want to feel good, but we
Mhm.
never want to feel horrible, right? So
Mhm.
we judge the horrible things, I don't want to be sad, I don't want to be frustrated, I don't want to be angry, I don't want to be anxious, depressed, whatever you want to call it, I don't want to feel that way. I always want to feel happy.
Mhm.
Yeah, right? But you
Mhm.
know what? The experience of every day is like a rainbow. There's all kinds in, moment where you feel joyful, a moment where you think about something of the past and you feel sad. And then there's a moment where you think about your workload and you think, oh my God, all the stuff I need to do. Actually, just had that yesterday because I have a
Mhm.
short week this week, just 2 days less. And I think, oh my God, there's so much I have to do.
Mhm.
But then I can see how it's created and it brings me back into the moment and I just can deal with what's right in front of me. That's the only thing I can do. It's the only thing I need to do. And
Mhm.
then just one more tip. Go one step, one baby step in front of the other. You can only
Mhm.
ever do one thing.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I think I really enjoyed all your tips and just learning more about how you think and how you mentor people to change their thoughts, just little baby step at a time.
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
mhm. Oh,
So I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording. Let's see how we do that.
good.
Okay.